Welcome to Roundel Live. The doctor will see you now.
Tell me, Frank, what's been happening in Ballasalla? I'm hearing there's like 700 patients are going to be displaced.
Yes, I am, of course, well prepared as I am, checking Meng's forums for this story because it's one of the biggest stories we had on there. And it says 700 patients are being offloaded from Ballasalla GP practice as they are out of the area, mostly Port Erin and Port St Mary residents.
I think you've got to look at the detail there, though, is that every doctor's surgery has got a catchment area. So maybe they haven't tidied up things, for a while and found out that, well, actually some patients have moved on and it's just a bit of good housekeeping, I'd say.
But wouldn't you agree that if you've been with a doctor for, say, 15, 20 years and you've lived there half your life, you should just be able to say you move from Ballasalla to Ramsey, as some people apparently have done, and then you get kicked out there. Surely, if that's it used to be like you have a family doctor, right? And you used to be with, he knows you, he knows your kids, you looked after everyone, doesn't matter where you live on the island. It's a small island. Surely it doesn't matter where you are.
But that is old school, isn't it? That's going back to, halcyon days. I'm afraid times have changed. It's 10-minute appointments. And in my book, if you miss an appointment, you should get fined. These doctors are under a lot of pressure. And, the service I've had from the medical side of things on the Isle of Man in the last 12 months has been second to none. So I will defend them to the hilt, Frank.
Oh, absolutely. The frontline guys, I've had nothing but good experiences. I'm, fortunate I've had my doctor for 20 years here. Well, not the same doctor, but the same surgery. And they've always been fantastic. I've always been able to be seen. Sure, sometimes in the morning, the old dance, if you need the same day appointment, you end up ringing 20, 30, 40, 50 times till you get through. But I've always gotten through and I've always had, really good service. So it seems to me it's one of those things that even though they already get a lot of resource, they may need more.
Well, there's no doubt about it. The medical services are under pressure and our government policy of importing as many old and retired people as possible is going to be taking its toll because that is what is happening. People are extending their lives and, there are more and more ailments and who knows, how overburdened these surgeries are. You certainly don't hear any good news stories about, the medical side of things on the local front.
No, all you hear is, increased waiting lists and...
angry receptionists. That must be toil, absolute toil there. The phone's ringing, there's filing to be done, and you get someone ringing up about something completely inconsequential and unnecessary. And I think a lot of people, if they've got a little bit of a chesty cough or something, they freak out and they're straight onto the doctors. And I think people have just got to harden up a little bit because I know a little bit about this and that, sometimes common sense has got to be applied and you've got to have some sympathy with those receptionists who see these shirkers week in, week out.
But then you have the problem, what happens then, I'm sure this happens, because that's the next news story that we had. So the people who get turned away by the said receptionist, probably quite rightly in most cases, they then go to A&E and they block up MERS or A&E.
But the thing is,
Meds,
if you're ill, aren't you? Okay, you're ill. And, I think if you're in desperate need of treatment, you can receive that. I'm not really seeing anything to the contrary on that front.
I think in post-COVID times, people are always, not sure what to do. Health is much more on our minds now, thanks to what happened. Maybe we feel different when we suddenly have a chesty cough or something.
Well, I think it goes back to what we've discussed before, and I think the biggest threat really is community mental health issues. And you look at, when you dial into what the police are dealing with, the majority of their problems is related to mental health and not really crime. And these sort of incidents and these jobs that they go to are just sapping up staff, and the likes of the police officers and the likes of the ambulance staff end up doing jobs that really they weren't designed or trained to do.
Wasn't there something, or maybe it wasn't here, where I read that there are roles or additional resources being put into place? Because as you rightly said, police officers shouldn't be social workers or mental health workers. They're not trained for that. That's not their job. Isn't there something already?
Oh, I know, but this is on the Isle of Man where, something goes wrong and all you do hear is that things will be put into place. I just want to see actual evidence that, figures, data that, this is the number of corrections that we've made and the number of treatments that have been given, and this is the success.
You mean the old lessons will be learned?
Don't even go there. I mean, that just doesn't wear any longer with me.
It's the most used.
Speaking about
excuse, isn't
lessons
it?
to be learned in Ballasella, I tell you what got my goat today.
You get stuck in traffic.
Unbelievable. So we had the insult, the two fingers to the Manx motorist from the Balladara roundabout that took about 9 months, which, as we know, has the world's shortest cycleway alongside it. But we suffered, it was about a year ago, wasn't it? Waiting at them flipping lights and nothing was getting done. They might just stick someone there with a shovel, pushing a bit of dirt round and about when they simply didn't have the staff to finish off the job. But now it's changed. Now it's double jeopardy. We've got the road which is leading to St. Mark's. That's Crossag Road. Okay, so that is shut, kaput. That is going to be closed for about a month. So this is a St. Mark's access. In addition to that, though, at the Balthane roundabout, we've got traffic lights. So these have started today. This is Monday, the 9th of January. And we've got 2 blockages. Well, we've got one road that's completely written off. And then it felt like the world's slowest traffic lights in operation. And I will tell you, what will happen is we'll have the traffic coming into the south and there'll be a tailback which is going to go way beyond Fairy Bridge. It's going to go into Santon, I'm convinced. And what that does, and this is the little Brucey bonus, is that those people who've been travelling down that tricky road with the reverse camber and what have you on the St. Mark's Road, they're diverted into the Orrisdale Road just when you go past that lovely farm and you've got the chickens in the road and things like that. And then you'll try and turn right from the Orrisdale Road into the A5, which is just near Blackboards. And, of course, no one's going to be able to move. So there's going to be a lot of frustration in this, a lot of fumes emitted in that beautiful green area. And I think a lot of tempers will be frayed. So watch this space. I think Tim Glover is normally quick off the mark when it comes to southern traffic issues. Oh, yeah, he's quite vocal on that.
So who screwed this one up?
I don't know. It's whoever decided to have 2 road closures or a road closure and a traffic light situation within half a mile on the main arterial routes to have them occurring simultaneously, especially when we had all that trouble about a year ago. And you're talking about thousands of people that are displaced because everyone travels into work in a car that they're using themselves. You've just got one person in the driver's seat. You've got empty buses galore, with vacant seats on the £2 fare that doesn't seem to be, changing the landscape of commutering into town.
I haven't looked at it, but do the buses still look empty?
Absolutely, yeah. So I don't think anyone's... Well, I'd like to see the facts and figures because...
that's the next
if
FOI
it
we
was
can
a
file.
success, if it was a success, you'd be hearing about it now, wouldn't you?
Good point, yes.
You'd be hearing
So
about it
there's
now.
an FOI we should file.
Well, yeah. Why not? We could have a go for a bit of a laugh.
What the
couldn't we?
FOI on that one? Let's
Yeah,
file
what
it.
the FOI?
Well, let's give them a bit more time. And then
Anyway, look, I need to calm down now after that.
Yes. Well, luckily, so we're recording in the evening, so by the time you get past there again, hopefully it will be.
Watch this space. I'd like to see what the feedback will be. Just follow a few things on Twitter and the other social media indexes, and you'll get a flavour of how angry the local drivers are.
Well, this goes out later in the week, so by then they should be well and truly stewed.
It'll still be the same, I tell you.
Tell us all about it. And that's all for this episode. So tell us what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, and
Yep.
see you next time.
Tune in. See you again.